If you're thinking about selling your home in Danbury, there is one mistake that I keep on seeing over and over and over again, and most sellers don't even realize that they're making it. Most Danbury sellers aren't overpriced, they're just mispriced for this market. I know that sounds like the same thing, but it is not, and that distinction is costing sellers leverage, time, and real money. Let me explain exactly what I mean. So a lot of pricing strategies today are being made using the wrong reference points. Sellers are anchoring what homes sold for last year, what their neighbor got, or what an online estimate says about how much their house should be worth. The problem is that buyers aren't using those reference points anymore. Buyers are comparing your home to what is available right now and how long those homes have been sitting on the market. How much flexibility the seller is actually showing in terms of negotiations. The shift matters way more than most people realize. So when a home is priced based on past conditions instead of current buyer behavior, something subtle happens. The listing just doesn't feel compelling enough to create any sort of urgency in the mind of a buyer. So what happens then is showing slow down, feedback becomes very vague, and the home quietly loses momentum. This is when sellers come up to me and they tell me, hey Byron, we can always reduce the price later. And yeah, sure, that sounds reasonable, but this is what actually happens. The first group of buyers to see your home are actually the most motivated buyers in the market. They're watching the house very close, they know what's new, and they know what feels like it's positioned well, meaning what homes are showing some sort of value. If your home misses the mark during that early window, within the first 1 to 2 weeks of going live, then buyers are just gonna move on. And when you do a price reduction later on, it doesn't feel like a new opportunity. It feels like confirmation that they were right, meaning that there was something off about your property when in reality, there was not. That shift changes your negotiating position. Now, instead of buyers competing for your home, they wait. They ask for seller concessions, they push a little harder on inspections, and sellers often give back more, way more, than they would have saved just by pricing aggressively from the start. This is what I mean by mispricing. It isn't about listing too high or too low. It is about listing without a strategy, and that reflects how buyers are actually making their decisions in today's market. So correct pricing in this market is not about chasing the highest possible number. It is about creating confidence. It is about signaling value early on. It is about putting yourself in control of the conversation instead of reacting to the market after the fact. So every market has a window where a home has the most leverage. In Danbury right now, that window is actually getting smaller than it used to be. So that makes precision much more important than optimism. So if you're planning on selling within the next 6 to 12 months, the biggest mistakes you can make is assuming that the market is gonna adjust to your price. The market does not do that anymore, and buyers decide quickly whether a home makes sense or it does not. And once they decide it does not, it is very hard to change their mind. So if you want to understand what correct pricing actually looks like for a home like yours, not based on headlines or algorithms, but based on real buyer behavior in Danbury, that is exactly what I help sellers with. If this makes sense to you, you can schedule a seller strategy review. We will look at your home specifically, see what it has to offer in person, your timing, your goals, map out a pricing approach that protects your leverage from day number one. No pressure, just clarity. That way, when you decide to sell, you're not guessing anymore and you're actually leading the process.